What the fuck it is, people? Money in the Bank just finished up. This is a few hours after, as usual. I'm kind of behind on my commentary game, been caught up with everything busy, but that's not why I'm here. This isn't this isn't even a Money in the Bank review commentary, because by now I'm pretty sure you've heard them all and you know what's going on. This is a where do we go from here type commentary. And I asked that because coming out of Money in the Bank, obviously, the way it ended was not what we expected, but what we're happy with, and that's Ambrose holding the belt. I mean, I know in the past few weeks they played up that it could end that way, which is cool, but normally when WWE does stuff like that, we don't normally count on them doing that, you know what I mean? It's normally something else that happens. But nevertheless, it did end like that. Ambrose left holding the championship. And before that, we pretty much had all three members of the Shield as WWE champion, which is something cool. It's something I didn't expect to see. But I'm all for it. We just need to see where everything goes from here, and not to mention with that, where does it go with the draft? Because that just got announced earlier. The draft. Upon waking up and checking my news feed, I seen that there's a date for it, July 19th. It's a 2-day event. Where does that play into it? As far as Raw and SmackDown goes, what's up with that? But I'm all for it though. I'm all for this draft. The only thing that I'm worried about, as far as with how the draft go, you see how Ambrose is the champion now. Once they make us another championship, if they decide to do it as soon as the draft starts, and Ambrose still has a belt, would that automatically make him the secondary champion? Suppose they made another belt and they crowned a new champion at SummerSlam, and it ended up being John Cena or Roman Reigns, who goes back to Raw, or Seth Rollins, and Ambrose goes to SmackDown. Does this make Ambrose title like secondary? But that's just something to think about. The other thing I'm interested in is, where does WWE go with this roster? It's kind of weird where they have this draft coming right now before SummerSlam, which is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. I say it's bigger than the Royal Rumble, for the simple fact they do a 3-day event with it now. So it's second. It's the WrestleMania of the summer. That it's like they had plans where they wanted to go with that, but then you had the draft in between. Do they still stay on par for the course with the majority of the matches they already had planned? Do they say some people had contract obligations to finish up these matches? How do we go from, if suppose two guys gonna end up getting split in the draft, how do they get their match at SummerSlam? That's what I want to know. So as many questions to figure that out. Are we splitting up tag teams? Are we getting 2 tag team champions? Is the tag teams going to be on one show? Is the women's going to be on the other? How? This is how you know when this draft was announced, WWE had no plans on doing it. Even though it was talked about, people wanted it back. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, where I see where it can help people, but I also see where it did not help people. Because on where it didn't help people was when you had double the championships. That's what I wasn't a fan of. Double the championships. At one point it did work when it first started, but then after that it was not good. It got lazy after a while. They was just doing whatever. What's next? What is next with everything in WWE? I mean, as some things already we see that's gonna happen, as far as AJ and Cena continuing, as far as the 3-way feud with the Shield for the title. What does this mean for Rusev? Rusev retains his title. Where does the Miz? I don't see the Miz holding on to this belt long. I really don't. In fact, I see the Miz losing this belt to Sami Zayn or somebody like that. For some reason, I got a strange feeling about that. NXT is another concern. As far as NXT goes, WWE is kind of weird because it almost feels like they're burning the candle at both ends with this whole draft / roster split / NXT thing, because what they was doing so well with NXT, what that was being done with getting guys ready and then bring them up, it's like, okay, you got that there, and then but yet you need a massive roster increase to fill 2 rosters, so you're gonna call up NXT guys. So you're going to be taken from what was already being built up so well with NXT. Not to mention what I'm hearing about them trying to get back in touch with a lot of the older mid-carders, guys like Shelton Benjamin, Crime Time, Carlito. I want to say John Morrison. I could be wrong, but basically guys from the Ruthless Aggression era, them guys, and that's cool, that's fine. But they want to fill them roster spots, and you need it done. But then this what bothers me more, the fact that this happened, and then you release a guy like Sandow. You got a guy like Cody Rhodes not wanting to come back, and those are 2 guys that could have worked respectively on each brand as these to fill that role. But yet we keeping we still gonna keep guys around who do little to nothing. Big Show, King, Mark Henry. How many times are them guys gonna get life breathed into them? Sandow had a lot left in him, as far as the fans was concerned. So what do we do? What are we doing? Where's everything going as far as WWE goes? This is going to be an exciting summer. I'll say this. This is going to be a good, as far as the summer goes with WWE, this is going to be a very make or break type summer. Either it's going to be a very good one or a very bad one, but it's going to be a lot of changes coming. I'm sure they're going to continue to keep guys from that Cruiserweight Classic. That Cruiserweight Classic looks interesting too. I'll be paying attention to that. WWE is pretty much got their own PWG with this Cruiserweight Classic. They kind of had it with NXT too, their own PWG / Ring of Honor, but this Cruiserweight Classic is a good idea. If they have the women's one, which I know they probably will, they're gonna have their own Shimmer. WWE knows what they're doing, man. Some are saying this is not a good idea by doing this. Only time will tell. But I think it's interesting. And I'm hearing talk about GMs. Who's going to be the GM? Who they're using for that? I don't know. I don't know who they're going to use for the GM. I'll tell you one thing. I don't want to see the same people that was there before. I'm not interested in that. Some people saying Daniel Bryan to be a good GM, which is fine. But for some reason, I think people are gonna want to see Bryan back in the ring more before a GM role. That's how I feel about that. And as far as where do we go with the Authority? Are the Authority still going to be on TV once we name a GM? I don't know. I really can't tell you. Triple H, where does he fit into this? Where's Shane McMahon? Shane McMahon been missing for a while. There was no Authority at all at Money in the Bank. There was nobody. There wasn't even really a mention of them, which is cool. In my opinion, I know we're doing I know we're talking about having a GM to run Raw or SmackDown, but to be honest, I'm all for them slowly phasing out Authority figures unless they need to be seen. Kind of like Regal is with NXT, where you'll see him, but you might not see him on the episode. You'll hear his name. If he's not there, you'll hear his name mentioned. Why we can't get that? So it's just something to think about. I'm looking forward to what's going on with WWE. I'm pretty sure you guys are too. I need to really come up here more and do more commentaries. And at the same time with doing more commentaries, I need to really put more effort into this channel. I understand that. I'm sorry, I've just been so busy with work. I should have some time coming up soon as far as with the summer coming up and everything. And I'll work my best to try to improve it. I thought about coming in front of the camera and doing something. Maybe I might before the time is up. But that's just some quick thoughts on where do we go right now with the state of WWE and everything else. You guys enjoy, comment, subscribe, anything you feel free to do to help improve this or wrestling in general. Take care and be good.